Welcome to the Leverage Show. This is Brett Ingram. And I'm curious, do you know what the dirtiest four-letter word in business is? Well, the word is luck. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is go to any successful small business owner or business owner in general and ask them or tell them that you think they've been lucky, and you'll find out exactly how dirty that word is. Now, here's the reason that I bring this up today. I think it's really important to just acknowledge and be truthful about a few things. Because if you're in a situation where your business is not producing the results that you want, and you see other people and they're successful, you start to think to yourselves, well, gee, I don't understand, what's going on. I mean, I'm working hard and, maybe everybody else is just lucky. And here's what I want to tell you, and it's important that I give you a little bit of background so you totally understand where I'm coming from. Now, I've built a couple of successful businesses, and in the process of building them, it's important that you know that I had no investors. I had no real money, so it was only my own income that I had to obviously use to support my family that I was using to start a business. I had no connections. I didn't have anybody who was already a successful business owner that I could go to and say, give me a track to run on. I mean, we all know those people that are, successful, but really it's because somebody sort of handed them the keys to the kingdom and they were able to go in and unlock the door. Big deal, right? Well, here's what I want to tell you. I started without any of that stuff. And I've had a lot of ups and downs along the way. And I can tell you unequivocally with 100% certainty that no matter what anybody tells you, luck does play a part in the equation. But here is where it really matters, and here's the real truth of the matter. And it's important that you understand this so you can internalize that, deal with it, and just move on. So some people are very lucky right out of the gate, and you can find this in any walk of life. I mean, as simple as buying a lottery ticket, right? Some people buy a few lottery tickets, they win $1 million, $5 million, $100 million, whatever. They're set for life because of one little moment. And it had nothing to do with skill or anything else. Totally understandable. Business is a little bit different. However, there's an element of truth. For example, if you were a real estate broker and you were a real estate broker during the real estate boom, then you were really smart, right? Because you made tons of money, and you made tons of money because everybody was making money, because there was a housing bubble. Now, if you were a real estate broker right after the real estate bust, were you all of a sudden not any good anymore? No, the market had changed. So outside circumstances do have something to do with it. And that is where the luck factor comes in. Because I don't care who you are or what your skill set is, there is some element of luck to being successful. But here is the difference, and here is why it's not something that you want to dwell on. Generally, you've heard the expression, I'm sure, you create your own luck, and that is also true. Now, when you are working hard at something and you're focused on it, you notice opportunities, you see things that you might not otherwise see, and that allows you to get lucky, because it allows you to seize opportunities and be in the right place at the right time. So there's an element of both that come into play. But here's the thing. You can't control outside circumstances. You can't control luck. So all you can focus on is working hard. When I look back over my businesses and over my career, I say to myself, geez, if I had only made that one other decision at that time, if I had only made that one other move at that time, look at how much faster I would have gotten to where I am today. But see, it doesn't really work that way. That's like going through a football game that you're watching on TV and saying, when the quarterback gets sacked to end the game, well, geez, if they'd only done this play earlier and the guy had caught the ball and they got the touchdown, none of the rest would have mattered. Well, it's true, but it's also not, because the fact of the matter is, every other play from that point further would have carried out in a different way. And business is exactly the same thing. Instead of looking back and lamenting missed opportunities or worrying about, who's lucky and who's not and why you're not lucky, you have to just keep grinding until those opportunities present themselves, because you can't impact anything in the past. It's already behind you. And, if there are missed opportunities and there are things that you wish you had done, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is you have to focus on what you can do going forward. And so, again, everything else changes based on those decisions. For me, maybe I would never have been as successful as I've become if I hadn't struggled first. Maybe for me, it was the fact that I went through those challenges that allowed me to develop my skills and develop my strength and my fortitude and my perseverance to continue on in the face of huge obstacles and to not give up and to be in a situation where I could say, what, I'm going to do this and I'm going to continue to work at it no matter what it takes for me to get there. And so I just thought it was really important to clear the air because I know that I've been in situations before when I was down on my luck and things were not going well. And I looked around and I said to myself, geez, I'm working my tail off. And I see all these other people that they're, I don't consider them to be that smart. I don't consider them to be that skilled, yet they're in my industry and they're doing really well. How is that possible? And it's easy to fall into the trap of then starting to make excuses for why they're successful. Well, they had this advantage and they had that advantage. And that stuff may be true, but it doesn't help you any one bit. Whether they're successful or not has no impact on whether you are. And how they got there has no impact on it either. So what you want to do is just focus on creating your own luck by being in the right place at the right time. And the way you do that is by staying focused on what it is that you're setting out to achieve. Whatever your goals are, whatever your dream is with your business, the longer you keep plugging, the greater your chances of success. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that have said to me, if they're successful, they've said to me, I was this close to quitting. I got to this particular point and this terrible thing happened and then I was going to give up. And, thank goodness I didn't because, look, that was the turning point for me. And I know equally number of entrepreneurs and would-be business owners that did not succeed, and it was for the very same reason, but they chose a different path. When things got tough for them, they gave up and gave in. And I'll share a quick personal story with you that hopefully will help bring home this point as well. When I was first starting with my internet business, I was in a situation where I was at night school for graduate school. I had a family at home. I was working full time. I was totally busy. I went to class all day on Saturday also, in addition to 2 nights a week. I had zero time. I also had zero money. I was paying for my own graduate school. I had a mortgage, car payments, and everything else. So I had zero advantages. I knew nobody in the industry. But I wanted a better life, and so I was working on this internet marketing business, and I was just learning about it. So I was trying to go through the paces and try to figure out what it would take for me to be able to build a business online because I loved some of the dynamics of it. Well, I was collecting data, and obviously I was relatively slow because I had very little time. So at night and whenever I had spare time, I was researching stuff, and I had a little zip drive. And I had collected all of my information. I kept like these notes about what I wanted to do. I had all these clippings of things that I saw that I thought, and I had collected 3 months worth of information, and I was just starting to create my first online product and website. And I had all the information to help me do it on this zip drive. Well, I was running late for class in graduate school, and I had driven into the city that day instead of taking the train, and I parked the car on a well-lit street outside school, and on my way in, it occurred to me that I left my attaché case back in my car. And I said, well, you know what? It's not that big a deal. I don't need anything in it for my classes. Let me just go in, do the classes, and I'll come out. So I came out a little bit after 9 o'clock. My classes were over, and I was getting ready for the hour-and-a-half drive home. And I come to my car, and the back window is smashed, and my case is missing, totally gone. So my first instinct was total panic. I mean, I didn't have any money or anything valuable in there, but I had all 3 months worth of work. So I went around the nearby streets. I looked in the bushes, the garbage cans. I mean, I'm in downtown New York City. So there isn't really a lot of place for it to go, nowhere to be found. So finally I just give up. and I head home. And as I'm driving home, a million thoughts are swirling through my head. I'm totally frustrated because I've lost everything that I've spent all this time working on. And I'm also just totally discouraged because I'm starting to wonder now, am I just taking on too much? Am I being stupid about this? Is this a sign that I'm not meant to be doing this? You know, maybe I should just give up on it and just stick with going to school and then go get a good job when I'm done and everything else. And in the heat of the moment, I had all of these thoughts. But then when I got a chance to reflect on it as the coming days went by, you know, I don't know if it was the next day or the day after, but I got up and I had even more resolve than I had originally started because I said, no, I know that this is the right thing for me to do, and I know this can be life-changing, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. And so, again, it's a turning point where some people would have thrown in the towel and said, you know what, that's it. I can't do it. All of that stuff went to, why me? Woe is me. And instead, I dusted myself off and I kept going. And the important part of that story is I don't care who it is and what success they've achieved. They've always put in hard work and gone through heartache that you will never see and you will never know. The greatest athletes in the world train 360 days a year in arenas and conditions we never see and never know. It's the day that they, score the winning basket or score the winning goal or, swim the record-breaking, length in the Olympics that we notice. But it was years and years and years of hard work and second guessing and, thinking, geez, should I just be spending time with my friends? I'm sacrificing my childhood for this. What if I never go pro? What if this never works out for me? But they stick through it and they do it anyway. And the same lessons apply to business. So you focus on what it is that drove you to be where you are and keep that in the back of your mind as your driving force. And no matter what things get in your way, you bust through those obstacles. If it takes a day and you need to lick your wounds and you need to sort of think about it and reflect and unplug and, watch some TV or something for a day, great, go ahead. But when you're done, get back up, get back in the race, and never, never quit. Because that is the only way that you ever ultimately lose, is by giving up. So hopefully that story will help shed some light and some honesty on what really it takes to be successful in business. And if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, comments, anything else, please share it with me, leverigeshow.com. And until next time, make it happen.